All right. What is up? It's your boy, Matt Mason, joined today by very special guest. We have two of the most intimidating men in hybrid fitness for very different reasons. On the one hand, we've got the man from Wisconsin, one half of Raw Debo. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Debo. Sure to stuff you in a locker. You do not want to see this man coming at a Hyrox race. Debo, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. I love that we are on the sides framing you, the Grinch, while we wear our Santa
That's right.
hat. Also,
I'm glad they
in
picked up on
Milwaukee,
that.
we have St. Nick coming tomorrow morning. I believe you celebrate that in St. Louis still. I think it's more of a
Obviously.
regional thing, though. Do you celebrate that, Anthony? St. Nick?
No, what are you
Yeah,
talking
you don't
about?
even. I think it's like a German city type thing. So he comes and fills a stocking for the kids tomorrow morning.
Yeah. St.
That's
Nick
cool.
comes. Well, Debo gave it away. And the second most intimidating man in hybrid fitness. Why is he intimidating? Because you do not want to see this man's athletes on the starting line because they are cleaning up, including taking today's Deka Fit World Championship on the women's side. That's right. We have got the mad scientist, the king of threshold. Volume. We've got Anthony Parasini. Anthony, how we doing?
Thanks, Matt. I was actually very curious what my introduction was going to be because I hear you do them all the time, and it's like it's like listening to OFX and hearing Dave's alliterations for Bethany. I'm always curious what Matt's intros are going to be for his guests.
Did I disappoint?
No, that was great. Thanks.
Perfect. Well, Anthony, we are super excited to have you on the show today. Quick plug if you want to listen and increase your knowledge of all things hybrid fitness and training. Anthony does host the hybrid fitness I'm going to mess this up. Coaching podcast. The hybrid coaching.
Yeah.
The hybrid coaching podcast with JK, James Kelly. You can find that on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Go and give it a listen. They got a lot of quality content for you to make yourself a better racer. On today's show, we are going to talk about Deka Fit. We're going to have an instant reaction. The World Championships of Deka Fit just went down in sunny, beautiful Fort Lauderdale. Debo, I don't know about you. Anthony lives in Vegas, so the weather's probably nice. But it's 19 degrees here today with 6 inches of snow on the ground. I'm jealous. I'd much rather be in Fort Lauderdale.
We are much the same. I could definitely do with a quick trip to Florida.
I thought you were going to tell me that you were born for the cold, that you were raised in the cold. Now I'm turning you into Bane, but that's neither here nor there. All right, gentlemen. Deka Fit World Champions. Anthony, as our distinguished guest today, you want to start on the men's side or the women's side?
Let's go with the women first because that's how they ran it.
All right, we will start with the women. Your top five. We're going to start at 5. Kaylee Royer with a 35-33. Tanya Thieves with a 34-56. Katie Duke with a 33-53. Your second place runner-up, Kat Fossbender, 33-31. And your 2025 Deka Fit World Champion, the hybrid engine athlete, Brooklyn Nichols, with a 33 flat. Anthony, would you like to take a moment and talk about the hybrid engine? Because all you all tend to do is win.
Yeah, no, Brooklyn did awesome. She's been building up too. And yeah, man, she contacted me over the summer. She's been following along, and just in terms of the race, like I think she executed it fantastic. I didn't know their PRs. Did Kat, that's about what she's done before, right? 33-20 something, or is that a little faster than her qualifying time?
I think it was. This is where we definitely need Jack, unless Debo, you have it. I think she was 32 mid. But let me just double check really quick. Was her qualifying time?
Her qualifying time was quite a bit faster than Brooklyn's.
Yeah, Brooklyn's qualifying time was not. But I mean, Brooklyn's on a tear the last few weeks, last month. First in Chicago at the Hyrox, and then here, winning a world championship with a 33 flat. If I remember Deka Fit right, 33 is kind of that line where there's not too many women that have broken it. It's like the 30 or the 29 line for men.
Yeah, so the top 5 fastest times on the women's side, where there's a woman, I don't know if you've ever heard of her, Anthony. Her name is Lauren Weeks. She had the fastest time so far with the 31:27. Then Calypso Sheridan was 31:48. Vivian Tafuto 32:08. Kat Fossbetter's qualifying time was 32:38, and then Carolyn Watkins was the 5th fastest time with 33:49. Looks like Brooklyn's time was 34:35.
Yeah, so a good PR for her, 1.5 minutes there, which it's incredible to watch an athlete's journey and see where they came from. That Brooklyn went from age group trifecta world champion. Was that? I don't remember if that was 3 years ago or 4 years ago in New Jersey, or if it was in Texas, but she won the trifecta for her age group, progressed up, spent time there, went to the elite field, started building up, then started getting podiums, and now Deka Fit world champion in the elite field.
It's a great race. I thought she raced incredibly smart. It was a good battle between her and Kat. She made her move on zone 3. And then they stayed pretty close, but then she definitely brought it home. She hit that air bike hard. And she burpeed really, really well. It'd be hard to find what am I trying to say here? It'd be hard to find a kink in her armor. You look at her station times, she did really, really well. Her zone total, so her strong time was 14 minutes. Her run time was 19 minutes flat. So did really, really well. She basically sat in the mid 150s for the majority of her runs. That's probably her average split. But pretty impressive ram burpees. She closed hard. I know that you all is that something that you all talk about in your coaching sessions and in the group, because your athletes they tend to close hard. Katie Duke, as a reference point, might be the fastest ram burpier in the field, and her split was 60 seconds. Brooklyn, who had a pretty comfortable lead at that point, was 64 seconds. So she's still moving.
It's good. Efficiency of movement. She's doing really well. And she's out there now training with the Walkington family. So yeah, Abby Wubacare, who is actually her aunt and the sister to the Walkington brothers. She's been training with us for a while as well. And now Brooklyn too. And Cole Walkington, her boyfriend did well himself too. I think he finished 5th, right? So top 5.
Yeah, he finished 5th.
And the money for him. But yeah, they're just out there, and when you have a community and a group that can push you and train you like that, I think it really lends well to good performance.
And they aren't too far from Milwaukee, so maybe we can just we'll loop them into the hybrid mecca.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't they all train out of Chicago, right?
It's a suburb of Chicago. I think maybe a north suburb too.
What's the radius?
We can extend it as needed. Yes, yeah. We'll extend it. I did notice, I was looking at her splits though, in 8th. She was like top 3 on basically everything, but 8th on the farmer's carry, is 7th on the sled push. What happened on the farmer's carry?
What was that?
What happened on the farmer's carry? She grabbed him and she started walking. They commented on it on the live stream.
Sometimes you got to breathe, I think. Yeah, no, Brooklyn, what was it? By the farmer carry, she had a 5-second lead. Her and Kat were tied going into the sit-ups, and then Brooklyn puts 5 seconds on the sit-ups, puts another 5 seconds on the ski erg, and then they get to the farmer carry. And I think what was the time difference there? Did you say?
It was still only 4 seconds. I mean, it's obviously not that meaningful of a station.
So she was just separating, and maybe at that point was a little bit more comfortable in where she was at, and then pushed it afterwards. I mean, the big separator stations, especially in a Deka Fit, right? It's the bike, D-ball, and sled.
And
those are really where
the farmer's carry is directly before those, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it seemed like in both races, that's really where separation occurred. Was everything was pretty tight until the bike. What are you laughing at?
I don't know where these comments are coming from, but
you can see the comments. Yeah, the viewers can't see them.
okay.
Yeah, so the viewers can't see those. We got some spam bots in the comments. I'm getting roasted for my haircut. That's fine. That's fine. No worries. But yeah, both races were pretty tight up until those final three stations. So you guys good? You gonna be able to hold it together?
We're good.
Do I need to go boo people?
I turned them off. Just bring them up if they're good.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch the chat. If they're good, bring them up.
Yeah, we're gonna take that one down. All right. I'll let you. All right, we're good. We're just a bunch of college boys in here today. So great race by Brooklyn. Is this her best? I would assume it is. Crossbow Sports. This is her best finish.
I think she's won Deka Fit Ruck before. Like she
won 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, and I believe she's the Deka Ultra world record holder. Yeah, she's the
Deka Ultra world record holder. I think.
If that counts.
Are we considering those elite?
She got third at a Hyrox.
And an elite, not an elite field though. I'm saying of the elite race that she's competed in, this is her best finish in an elite race.
I think so.
Yeah. And for Kat Fossbender, I mean, she continues to she continues to do well here. This is her second year in a row taking a second place finish. Last year taking second place to none other than Lauren Weeks. And Kat has been I obviously can't speak to Brooklyn the way that Anthony can, but Kat has been all in on Hyrox as of late, getting a little bit more specific here in the last 2 weeks. Got to think that she'll definitely come back. I think I don't want to call it the surprise of the day because anybody that knows her knows that she was capable of this, but really excited for Katie Duke. She came in with the 10th fastest qualifying time. I think that we talked about this with Jack and Michelle about how she was someone that you were going to have to watch out for in the race. Someone who's got lots of experience when it comes to Deka Fit. And we thought that experience might matter. Dawson's in the chat. Debo, he's got to catch up, and he'll be here soon. He said he's put the playback speed at 2x because he's 10 minutes behind, but he'll get here. So your boy's coming. But Katie closed incredibly well. She was third in dead balls, fourth in sled push, and then again that just insanely fast 1 minute ram burpee time. And she ran incredibly well throughout the race. She started off they took that first run pretty hot at 140, but then pretty much everybody else at some point fell back into the twos for 3, 4, 5 runs. She only crossed over 2 minutes after the air bike, which is understandable. And then barely over on the run 9, which is right after the wall ball overs. But then she came back and dropped a 151 for run 10 right into that 1 minute burpee. So you want to talk about closing hard. Katie Duke, very impressive race.
The one thing I wish there was just a little bit more movement in this race. If you look at her, she basically sat in third the entire race, which obviously she's a vet. She was consistent with everything. But as a viewer, I wish there would have been a little more back and forth. It seemed pretty locked down from the beginning.
I just had to, this guy, I'm just getting absolutely roasted by this Middle Eastern bot. So I had to ban him. So for everybody that's listening to this on Spotify later, I am getting cyber bullied in the comments section of the YouTube chat. So we're going to take a second to collect ourselves. Yeah, I would agree. Marcus, I think that not to take anything away from these athletes, the top three, these were great races, but yeah, it kind of just, there wasn't a lot of movement in either race. It was, it was basically those top 3 to 4 athletes. And then the middle pack basically sat in the same. And, you do wonder what the race would have been like if we would have, seen, some other athletes that were notably missing from the field. I mean, you look at the going into it, you just look at the top 5 fastest times this season. Only one of those women were in the race, which was Kat Fossbender. So, like I said, your top 5 women for the season were Lauren Weeks, Vivian Tafuto, Calypso Sheridan, and Carolyn Watkins. And then if you go down to 6, you got Lauren Griffith in there as well. So we're missing 5 of the top 6 fastest times. We're not racing. I think 3 of them are actually, all 4 of them are down in Melbourne. And then Carolyn Watkins would be the one that I'm not sure why she didn't race, but.
Yeah. Did you say so? Because Lauren Griffith did not race. She was on the start list. She wasn't going to race. So I knew that last week. She is doing Deka Fit teams though, and she's doing Deka Mile teams tomorrow, and then she's flying from Florida to Melbourne.
So she is there.
Yeah, she is there. Yep.
Okay. Is there? Can you share why she didn't line up for the solo race, or is that's privileged, confidential coach to athlete information?
She just didn't want to. It wasn't an easy summer for her. I don't know if you guys remember at World, she talked about her hip labrum. She injured it last November, and it was just like, we're gonna wait till after Worlds to get it try to get it fixed. She spent most of summer not really. Maybe 7-8 weeks without running, and without a lot of activity. And then I think she'd only been running for about 2 weeks before Hamburg. And then they went and did Hamburg. And now it's just kind of okay, let's focus on doubles this year and maybe do some solo if and when she can, but mostly going to be team stuff. And she had qualified, but didn't think that she'd wanted to push the solo Deka Fit, would rather just do the teams and then be available for Melbourne next week.
No small task. That is going to be quite the plane journey from sunny Fort Lauderdale to sunny Melbourne. So Godspeed, Lauren Griffith. I hope that there's enough magnesium that you can sleep the majority of that flight. So, but really, really great race here on the women's side. And that middle pack, kind of like we had thought, wound up being pretty close. 5th to 8th was within 20 seconds of each other. So really good race here. Any other thoughts on the women's side?
Well, just on that, I know that you said 5 of the top 6 times weren't there, but for most of those people, you can only race the people who show up, right? So you can't control the level they're at when they arrive or who arrives, only what they do. So Brooklyn, Kat, Katie, that's a fantastic podium and amazing job at their Deka Fit.
No doubt.
They won. They beat the people who showed up and qualified. It's not like this was anybody can show up at any time. This was, you had to qualify to be here.
For sure. And to be clear, I'm not taking anything away from the athletes. I'm just saying, I think that part of the reason why we didn't see more shuffling in terms of how it kind of played out was because the 3 women that were on the podium were 3 of the top 10 fastest times of the season. I think they're actually 3 of the top 9 fastest times of the season. And then the other 6 didn't race. So it kind of played out the way that you might expect if you have a smaller percentage of your top 10 athletes in the field.
And in doing that, do you think it would be better to move when Deka Fit World Champs is? Because this is 2 years in a row now where it's kind of coincided with a major.
When would you move it to, though, with Hyrox having 4 majors, a world champs?
Pull it. If it pulled back 1 weekend, maybe even just back to Thanksgiving weekend or whatever it was, that, or the weekend before Thanksgiving. There hasn't been a major around there yet. So before or after?
I mean, I think it definitely makes sense, right? We've already had a Deka Fit race in Knoxville this fall that didn't count for this race. That counts for the next season. So, I mean, I definitely think that there is something to be said about bringing it up or moving it up in the timeline. But I think to Debo's point, I think it should. I think it definitely should move up. I think the question is, where do you move it to? Because depending on how far up you move it, you might have people that are deep in a block for a major, or you might have people who are still coming down from Hamburg wasn't that long ago, right? We're talking like 2 months effectively.
8 weeks.
Beginning of October. Yeah. So I think it kind of depends. It does seem silly to me that they have the world championship in the winter. I don't know, but I think it just depends on what they're trying to, the athletes that they want to get. I think is the decision at the end of the day.
No, I mean, I like the event. Why not? If it's 2-3 weeks before a major, it's a great stimulus for people going to that major too, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, anyway, past that, I wrote down a question here that I was just scrolling through these notes as I was watching. Do you guys, I don't usually do this, but like look at the shoes that everybody's wearing. Did you catch what the women were wearing? I don't know if you guys are the ones that want to talk about that. I didn't.
I always want to talk shoes. So there was a lot of Sauconys on the women's side.
Well, did you see? And I didn't notice this, but the spitting on the ground and then wiping it to get better traction on the sled.
Oh yeah, Brooklyn did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were they wearing basketball shoes? That seems like a basketball thing.
I mean, the slick concrete floor, maybe it helped with the traction.
They were not wearing basketball shoes. I do wonder if it has something to do with weight distribution. And the reason why I say that is because it seems like on the men's side, sometimes some of the heavier dudes get away with shoes that other people can't wear. The bottom doesn't seem to matter as much. As an example, I have seen people wearing the Adidas Adios Pro 3s in a men's pro race, which I'm an Adidas stan. I would never wear those because it's that Continental flat rubber tire on the bottom. You couldn't push a sled on that, but some guys have no problem in it, and I can only assume it's because they've got more weight. So I wonder if on the women's side it probably plays itself out even more because we don't have, I don't think, any women competing at 200 pounds, and so there's just less force being applied between the shoe and the floor.
Mass moves mass. Mass gives you less slippage.
I mean, that's been Debo's sleds. That's been Debo's philosophy all along.
Man, I've never even tried on the sleds yet. If I start trying on the sleds, if I can bring everything else up.
Dang, that's quite the statement. I mean, I always make a joke that you all make your moves on the sleds, and then Dawson quickly reminds me that it's not making a move if you're just better at the sleds than everybody else. So
we just need to bring other stuff up.
Are you talking about this one? Is that what you meant?
No, you don't bring that up. Nope.
I didn't bring it up. Your partner did.
He's not my partner anymore.
Oh, damn. Wait till he gets caught up. Great race, though, on the women's side again. Shout out again to Brooklyn. Shout out to Kat and shout out to Katie. 3 really great athletes. Happy to see them all on the podium. And it's not the last that we'll see. It's definitely not the last that we'll see Kat and or Katie. Does Brooklyn have additional races this weekend, Anthony?
Yeah, I think so. I think she's running all 3.
Okay, so
she was really strong. Close to winning the strong last year, wasn't she? I think she took a podium.
Yeah.
She's going to get that triple crown.
I mean, we haven't.
It's a good start.
Has anyone?
No one in the elite has ever won the triple crown.
Yeah, Rylan got close, and then Kent one year won the strong and the
Alondra went 2-2-2, And Tara has gone 1-1-3.
And Rylan went 1-1-2.
Yes, in Dallas, I think he did.
And then the year that Rich, shout out
Rich won, I think Kent went 2-1-1.
Yeah, Kent won everything but the fit that year. And that was the year. That was the year that Rich won it. Yeah, and then Kent took the others. So we've never had a Triple Crown
elite person
winner. That'd be pretty sick. And then Katie is doing them all. Katie and Grayson just do them all. So shout out to them. I hope that they've got.
Is there anybody doing? And I know outside of Kevin Gregory, because he's doing like 15 races, but is anybody doing 12, like a Deka Fit solo, a Deka Fit team, Deka Mile solo, Deka Mile team, strong solo, strong team? I don't know if there's anybody doing a combo of that.
I'm so confused with what you just said.
Is there anybody doing both a solo and a team race for all 3 distances?
So well, because Debo, in theory, you could do a solo, you could do a same gender team, and then you could do a mixed doubles team. Yeah.
So you really could run 9 total races, and then if there's a relay too, you could run.
And then add in some rucks and some relays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like you could run a bunch of
sure.
races. Like
my money would be on Dustin Needham or Kevin Gregory. Those would be the dudes that I would guess would do it.
Kevin didn't do Deka Fit solos, so
he was a judge. So I'm going to say no. The other people that you would think it would be Katie and Grayson, but they just do the solos and then the mixed. They don't do the same gender. So,
well, I mean, if they're doing, that's what I was curious about. Just run one of the teams. Doesn't have to be like the same team. I'm just curious if there's anybody doing that.
Katie and Grayson are doing 6. I know Katie and Grayson
so
are doing 6 races. Yeah. They're doing the.
Awesome.
All right. On to the dudes. Your top 5 men. Cole Walkington. What a run he's on lately. I believe, as the announcer called him, Cole Runnington. So, Cole, I hope you like that new nickname. 31-23, Aitor Lizarazu, 31-21. Your third place finisher, Ryan Kent, 30-35. The Canadian Isaac Sanderson with a 30-13. And your Deka Fit World Champion. What a run this guy's on. Grayson Kilgore, 29-32. Debo, Anthony, your thoughts on the men?
First up, you didn't read 12th place, but Jack Bauer, 12th place. Shout out, Race Brain, represent.
Shout out, Race Brain. 32.
He was my pick for
the
first. I thought this was a very good race. There was a little bit more sort of back and forth. Early on, it was sort of that group of 5 that separated with Nick Riker up there as well. Obviously, he ended up getting that penalty. But I thought, yes, it was in question up until about the air bike, which is when Grayson, I think I was looking at the splits. I think he put about 20 seconds on everybody else. And after that, it seemed pretty wrapped up. But definitely a good watch on this race.
We had some rubbing. They say that rubbing is racing. We definitely had some rubbing in this event, but I agree. I guess my question is, when will people stop going out at the speed of light? And Hyrox and Deka, it does not, I could count on one hand between the men and women, the people who are capable of sustaining that pace from start to finish. One of them is married to somebody on this show. And then there's like 2 or 3 other people that can actually do it. And you would think that people would learn that, but they don't. Why is that?
I mean,
the Spaniards went out. The Spaniards went out and looked like they were trying, like it was a 100-meter sprint, and they were trying to see how much distance they could put between Kent, Grayson, and Isaac. And then I think the lead was gone after the first station. I just don't understand the method behind that madness. It doesn't work.
That's the method of playing fetch with your dog, right? Your dog's going to run as hard as it can every time you throw that ball. And over time, that as hard as it can, it doesn't think about the later on. It only thinks about that single time running and getting the ball. And so over time, you watch it slow down, slow down, slow down. But the fitter your dog gets by the end of it, you could, be running pretty quick. But it just fastest you can in that moment.
Chris McInerney and Aitor ran a 129 into Station 1. And for comparison, Grayson, your eventual winner, was a 134. And we're talking about a 500 here. So, I mean,
I think for
you
Chris,
wouldn't think 5 seconds makes that big a difference, but it can make all the difference in the world.
If you're going to end up in 14th, though, and you want to get some airtime, I think why not go out fast on the first run?
So maybe that's what I need to start doing in my Hyrox races, Debo. I need to go out at VO2 pace and run one, absolutely hammer the ski. No one will ever see me again.
Well,
but
did you guys? I don't know if you watched the SoCal teams when I ran with Lauren, and Tara was commentating.
How fast were you that day?
Well, Lauren told me to pace the first run, and I told her she should because I don't know how to pace it, and she told me I should. So I did, and I was about 50 meters ahead of Grayson, and Lauren's looking at me like, "Where are you going?" I was just off.
The dog. That's that dog in you.
So I think what I heard is for at least one 500-meter run, Anthony Parasini got Grayson Kilgore, our current world champion.
Yeah, they beat us in the teams because there's Katie and Grayson. They ended up beating us by like a minute or something. But yeah, I just took that first run way too fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strategy and it never works. I'm amazed to see that people continue to do it. Like I said, there's probably less than 5 people on the elite men's and women's side that can actually pin it from the start and hold on.
But even when you say that, like those people that can do that, that isn't an all-out sprint for them. That is just their high-end, like fast pace, like the ones that could actually hold it. Because if they really were out there sprinting, it would happen the same as everybody else.
Spoken like a true coach.
And in this race, I feel like if you are the type who is going to get to the bike and struggle relative to the other athletes, you do sort of have to get there with a little bit of a time gap because that is where a lot of that movement happens. So it's not necessarily, if you can bank 30 seconds and you lose 20 on the bike, you're still ahead. So I think it depends on your strengths as an athlete.
That's my philosophy, Debo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was an impressive race. It was an impressive race for Grayson. Never really fell. Actually, only had 2 runs above 149 the whole time. It was the run after the air bike, which is a 154, and the run after the dead balls, which is 152. So his 5K time was 17:42, which is moving. Still slower than the Lauren Weeks Deka Fit 5K time, which I will never not bring that up when we're talking about any Deka Fit race. The fact that she ran basically a 17 flat in the middle of a Deka Fit is still one of the craziest things.
I've been telling her I wanted to go run a 5K, and I say, well, you've already ran a 17-minute 5K, and she says that doesn't count because she gets breaks. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple live comments that I think would be good for Anthony to get your perspective on. And Debo, you too as an athlete. So first question for my buddy Phil: what about the fact that everyone jumps the start in Deka and Hyrox?
Dude, I'm so glad you brought that up because I have literally on my notes here, I wrote, I want to see a false start penalty. I want to see either a recall, a restart, and that whatever athlete jumped the start has to start at the back of the tunnel or the field, or a 15-second penalty, because it's ridiculous. And it's in both races. People are counting down. They're going 3, 2, and people are jumping between 2 and 1. They're timing it. Like, I want to see it be unpredictable. I want there to be like a screen instead to count down and make it like F1 where it's randomized between the last light and the green light so that nobody can jump the time.
What advantage do you feel like jumping the time is doing, Anthony?
It's getting them out in front so they can run, in front of somebody they might not have been in front
Uninhibited.
of. Uninhibited, yep.
And in Deka, when we have these results on the final page, are they going off chip time or
chip time?
Whoever crosses the actual finish line first?
It's definitely chip time, because if you saw it, I don't know. I wanted to also give out a shout out to Jude Reynolds. He's been on the hybrid engine, and Cole Walkington's been training with Brooklyn too. But Jude is the guy that slid across the line with his chip timer.
Yeah.
And then if you go look at the results, he's 3 seconds ahead. He started at the back of the pack. So he did finish ahead. Like, obviously he crossed the line first when he slid. You saw that like when they did that slow motion replay, but his chip timer was 3 seconds ahead, and there wasn't a 3 second gap between him and who he passed. So he didn't have to slide. He still would have finished ahead, but it was obviously chip timer.
Yeah. So I think, I think they fix up the start, and I think they should just go off gun time. So it's whoever crosses the line first, actually, because I believe that's what they do in Hyrox, right? Because I did ask, I made sure to ask that question at the actual briefing, because I'm like, well, someone could just wait back 5 seconds, then at the end you think you got them and you don't. So I think it should definitely be whoever is crossing the finish line, but then you do have to make sure that that start is actually a fair start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question. Is positioning in Deka more important, and does it pay to get to a station first? I think that historically it has paid to get to a station first. But actually, one thing I noticed today was they seem to do a better job of, on some of the stations, like for instance, the box jump overs, they kind of had in a U shape instead of being lined out. So you didn't have to go as deep in. But then there's going to be some stations, like for instance, the med ball sit-ups, that you can't do anything about that, right? Because it's a rig that you've got to move out. And so, yeah, some people are going to be coming out. Or as an example, I know this has gotten brought up before, not to call out our boy Jack, but Jack came into the sleds as Grayson was leaving. So Jack actually got prime position because he got that first sled right by the entrance and was able to get in and out. So with that kind of context, Anthony and Debo, do you feel like, as Deka racers, do you feel like positioning is important, and does it pay to get to station first?
I have raced at Deka World Championships. I actually have podiumed at Deka World Championships in the mile.
True. It's true.
In that race, it is extremely important. That's the only race I've ever actually gone out hard.
You were my pick for the strong that year, by the way. So I'm still, and that was before we were even friends. So wow. I just need you to know that.
And in that case, I knew like it was very important. For the fit, I think it still is important, but I do sort of like it because at least you have like this 500-meter run. You have more time where you can like strategically try and go for that. Whereas in the mile, we were just talking about how crazy starts are and you're doing these short loops. It seemed maybe a little unfair, but I believe I did hear Yancey on a podcast this week talking about they were going to be doing something different for the mile in the stations where you enter, there's an entrance and an exit basically. So they will sort of mitigate that. But for the fit, important, yes, but not as important as something like the mile.
That is one thing that I feel like Hyrox gets right, like on the sleds as an example. Maybe not, I guess I haven't really thought about the setup of the elite race, but at least in like a normal age group race, it doesn't really matter where you come in because you come in, and even if you get to the first sled, you had to run all the way down and then you're out. And if you come in last, you don't have to run there. So you're still everyone's covering the same amount of distance in and out. But Deka, it is, I think Jack did the math one time. It is possible that you are covering more distance if you're consistently late into stations, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when we're talking about a 5K race, that can actually add up and make a pretty big difference.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right, Debo. It absolutely is more important for the strong and the mile in your position. But for the fit, if it takes you an extra second to get to your station because it's in the back, and it takes you an extra second to get back out because you exit the same place you entered, over the course of a race, it's 20 seconds, which might not be much, but that could be several positions. We saw a 30-second penalty on Riker cost him 5 positions. So 20 seconds could still be a couple. And that for him, that's the difference between in the money and out of the money, right?
In some ways, I do like it, though, that it introduces a little bit of strategy. And if you're going for that position, you could pay for it later. So,
Yeah. Back to the results. This was for Grayson, that 29:32. That is only 4 seconds off the season fast time of Tom Rogers, 29:28, and is actually 5 seconds faster than Grayson's qualifying time of 29:37. Fresh off a 55 in Chicago. If I'm Grayson Kilgore, I'm feeling pretty good about where my fitness is at right now. And if I'm the field, and we do have someone who's the field on the show, I might be a little nervous about the man from Idaho.
I barely raced, dude. I don't need to worry about anyone. But what did he do? He ran a 55. He got married. He wins Deka World Champs. Yeah, it's a good
It's a good stretch for. It's good to be Grayson right now. So, I mean, and it's hard to find in these results. I mean, like I said, where do you find a weakness? You look at all of his, like I said, his run splits were incredibly strong. Kent made a move on him on the skier, and he covered it well on the run. He buried that farmer carry 44 seconds. He did a 1 minute air bike, minute 2 dead ball overs, 220 sled push and pull, and 105 burpees. I mean, that basically, with the way it came out to, I already mentioned his 5K time of 17:42. His strong time was 11:50, which was the fastest strong time on the day.
We haven't talked about second place yet. Isaac, who I thought ran a really good race, was one of my favorites coming in. And he basically, they ran, I think he was like 17:41 and 42. So it was basically all on the stations for Grayson where he pulled away.
Yeah.
Isaac,
I was gonna say he had a great run too. The Grayson first put the move on Kent. They came in together. He put the move on the farmer carry, and he just extended from there and then into the bike and coming out just did fantastic. And Isaac was right there with Riker. Riker did get that penalty, dropping the kettlebell or the dumbbells from his hip. But it was really good of Isaac to just keep the pressure on. He was not he settled in the early stages and then worked his way up. He was, 5th, 6th, 7th place. And then in the skier came out, I think 5th. In the farmer carry, he came into it 4th and then passed Riker, came out right behind Kent, and then started to creep up on Kent and pass him eventually after that. But Isaac ran a really great race.
Yeah.
What was his finish time? Yeah, that
Isaac was 30:13. He had a 17:41 5K. So I believe that was 1 second faster than Grayson, and then a 12:31 strong time, which is the second fastest behind Grayson on the day.
Yeah. Just, fantastic for him. Yeah. And who is Isaac and Cole Learn? Are they doing no, Isaac is going with Austin.
For the doubles?
Doubles, yeah.
They were on the leaderboard 1 second ahead of Raw Debo, so we probably shouldn't talk about them. But yes, and Isaac and Cole Learn were talking about teaming up, but they did not. So maybe in the future they will.
This is I'm once again asking for Hyrox to please, for the love of God, clean up the doubles leaderboard so that we actually know who is racing with who.
But they can race with anybody, just like Tim is racing with a new partner in Melbourne.
Here's my question for you, Anthony, because we've actually talked about this and we haven't gotten an answer from Hyrox. Maybe you know the answer. So Jake Williamson and Alan Plow qualified for Melbourne, or not for Melbourne, for World Championships at the Hamburg race. Jake is obviously free to continue to race with other people in normal races, but can he qualify for a major and race with a different partner?
Yeah.
That's what Tim is doing next week.
That's what Tim's already doing. He's racing with a different partner. He's not racing with Ronkovic, who he already qualified with. It just means that if Tim wanted to qualify with his new partner, he needs to decline his world invite before the race happens. So Tim.
Okay, so then what happened? So because let's just play this out. Not to get into Hyrox, but I'm curious now. So Hunter and Jake ran a very fast time. They've said that they're going to race together again. If they decide to run together, who gets the spot? Does it roll down to who the 4th place team from Hamburg?
No, only if Jake declined. So basically, they'd be running exhibition unless Jake declined his spot before the race started. So if they're not going to, but if they wanted to race together in Melbourne, or let's just say Phoenix, right? And they're like, oh, we're going to do this. Jake would have to say before Phoenix, he'd have to tell Hyrox, we are declining our spot from Hamburg. It would roll down there, and then they would race Phoenix together, and they could or could not qualify. Say they do qualify, then they get the spot.
Oh, so when you say they have to decline before they race a major together. They've got to say, I am foregoing that last result.
Right.
So in theory, Tim and Ronk, if they said, hey, we're not going to race together at Worlds.
Yep, they could forego that spot. But if Tim, like he's doing in Melbourne, is racing with a different partner and say he finishes top 3, he doesn't get a qualifying. That team doesn't get a qualifying spot. It's going to skip over them.
So Hyrox would like to have a team that's racing as an exhibition team versus a team that is actually trying to get a world championship spot.
It's just like having somebody that's already qualified. The spot just rolls down. You want to see the best people racing, no matter what.
But what about that?
Okay, hold on. Hold on. Put a pin in these. Put a pin in these thoughts.
I want to finish Deka Fit.
We're gonna talk about Hyrox, but let's finish Deka. Let's give Deka Fit the credit that's due, and then we will kick off our Hyrox talks with doubles talk. So rounding out your top 5, Aitor Lizarazu, who's known over on the Hyrox scene, came over, took that 4th place spot, 31-21. Great race by him. Cole Walkington, who we mentioned, great race by him too. He's now a sub 60 guy over in Hyrox, someone that you got to watch out for. Also, thought this was a pretty good race for Kent. He's been racing a lot this fall. He's done every single North American Hyrox race, and he is racing Anaheim next week. I don't know that he would say this, but he did not taper into this. So I thought this is a pretty good showing for him, and definitely seems like his fitness is on the way back. I'm really excited to see the future of Cole Walkington in hybrid sports. I think he's still, he's young. I think he competes in the 16 to 24 age group. And here he is with the top 5 finish at Deka Worlds. He's a 58 guy now. I mean, he's someone you got to watch out for in the years to come. We're talking about all these young bucks. We need some young buck Americans. All the American guys are old. Devo, you're old. Dawson's old.
Nah, I'm not old. I used to think I was old. I changed my mindset. I'm young now.
No, dude, you're old. You're old. The youngest guy that's like borderline Elite 15 for us is Jack Driscoll. He's 27. He's also old. We need some young bucks. Charlie Bottrell's like 19. So we need some young guys. Any other thoughts on the Deka Fit before we jump back over to Hyrox? And you're all chomping at the bit.
Hey, just a question on Deka Fit. Is there anything you guys want to change on that course? What did you, and then just before I set it up, what'd you think of the med ball sit-ups?
I don't like that. I mean, like Grayson, when he was tossing it sort of from far away, I've never really liked the med ball sit-ups. It's just a little strange to me how it can be a actual sit-up, or it can be a little bit of a sit-up and a throw.
I was looking at it and I was like, there's got to be a way to fix it. And all I could think of is just tell them the ball can't leave their hands. You have to touch the target, and your hips can't leave the mat. That's simple. Yes rep, no rep for a judge to do too. Is the ball can't leave your hands. And because if you watch like some of the athletes, Brooklyn, like she was almost touching the target with her hands. It was like a 2-inch throw versus like some of the others. And I know Bubbles does it too, where he just like throws from the ground almost, and he's just like playing catch against the wall, which you don't have control of a ball flying with weights. Like that, again, could be a safety thing. So it would just make sense to take the ball, you have to hold it, and you touch the target, and then you come back down.
It feels like the
but just saying the ball can't leave your hands.
Yeah, it feels a lot like the hunter hop and burpee broad jump. So you got some people that are definitely like, it feels like riding the line of what is acceptable for the movement standard. And if you looked on the women's side, there were some women who basically were touching it. The ball never left their hands, and they were touching their hands to it. You had some people throwing it. I do think that should be cleaned up. Our good buddy Dave Claxton is probably responsible for that. I do agree with you. I think that there's a little bit of a safety issue there, which is why I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't come up yet. Yeah. But I'd like to see that changed.
But I don't know if I like to think about
like
intention of the movement too. The intention of the movement is a core exercise. If you're not flexing your core and you're just throwing from the ground, are you hitting what is intended for the stimulus of the race?
I will say no.
Yeah, the full sit-up, make them touch the target, makes them touch the ball to the target without leaving their hands, and boom, now you have to do a full sit-up. And if you make them keep their hips on the ground too, it's even worse. And they're going right from that, I think, into the farmer carry. Is it ski first, then farmer carry?
I think it's ski after. So yeah, it's
tax their core. Make them actually tax their core.
The other one that I don't really like, and I don't think is super safe, and this might be controversial, is the box step overs.
You just aren't athletic enough to do that. You couldn't pull that off. I think they look goofy, but somehow when you do them, they feel like a little bit of an athletic move.
Look, man. First off, I can do it. I think it's a safety hazard on those boxes, dude. Those boxes are moving. I don't need to see any Achilles popped in a Deka race.
We did have one penalty for a safety hazard for Nick Riker. Sort of a tough break, but it was definitely the correct call.
It was the correct call.
I do not like farmers carry how you go. In my most recent race in Hyrox too, is I grabbed these 70-pound kettlebells. All of a sudden, there's a lady in front of me grabbing kettlebells. Now I'm I can't stop with 140 pounds in my hands very well. No. I think I would like a different more spread out where you're picking them up, putting them down, something like that.
I want a pickup zone and a put down zone because I saw that too. Katie Duke kind of got or maybe it was Kat, got interfered with a little bit as she was coming in to put them down. Somebody cut her off and picked up their dumbbells, and she was waiting there for 1 or 2 seconds only, but she had to stop her movement and she was waiting there to put her kettlebells or dumbbells down.
Yeah, I understand why for age group you have people just rolling through all the time, and you would essentially need someone else to move them from one spot to another, but for the elites, I think it would be nice to have 2 separate areas.
Yeah, I agree. Debo, any other changes you'd make to Deka?
Just got to have it be cooler. It doesn't have that Hyrox cool factor.
Yeah, I will say, I think there are some things that Deka does incredibly well. The Deka community is A1. I mean, those people they're in it. They are building something special from a community perspective. The judging, I will say this, one thing that I really appreciated today was there was no controversy in terms of, are those good reps? Are those not good reps? Are someone getting away with something they shouldn't? Dave Claxton, hats off to you. You have cleaned up the standards there immensely, and that is great. I will say it is already not as cool of watching from a production side of things as Hyrox. I would be remiss to not call this out. The announcing today was, and I have to be fair because I, on 2 separate podcasts, blasted Till and Hyrox for the Hamburg majors. The announcing today was horrendous. No one else needs to say anything if they don't want to. I'm not asking you to join me in that pool. I respect the fact they had announcers. One of the announcers did not know the race at all, did not know what the stations were, did not know the rep schemes, did not know the rep counts, did not know the athletes. And we were having side conversations about snow in Virginia while there were moves being made during the race. And I just don't think if you're trying to grow your sport that especially something like Deka, that is a hardcore sport. The people that are in Deka they're in Deka. They love Deka. And I think that those people deserved better than what we got on the screen. And I will leave it at that.
It was definitely a choice.
It was definitely a choice. All right. Congrats to the winners. Excited to see how the mile and the strong play out. Now, I feel like I've been holding back 2 dogs that just like want to go at it over Hyrox. So let's just jump right back into the doubles. Let's just jump right back into the doubles conversation. So we are finding out for the very first time. Wow, you're telling me this for the first time. Shout out if you get that reference. That you can, in fact, race with multiple partners in Elite 15 major races. Anthony thinks that is fine as long as you express your intent. Debo, as someone who is trying to break into the Elite 15 doubles, raises a valid point that may take away from other teams that are trying to qualify. Debo, you were getting ready to make a point. I will hand it to you and then back to Anthony.
No, I haven't looked into it too much. So last year, the rule was if you do one of these qualifier for doubles races with a partner and you enter the next one, before you're even in that race, you need to give up your spot. So I assume that's what they were doing similar to this year. But now if they're making a special exhibition spot for someone, so they essentially are racing for nothing while the other 14 teams are racing for something. I assumed for this race, it was only because they were having trouble filling the actual doubles because it's in Melbourne. So I assumed it was like a special exception just so they have 15 teams. But I hope they don't do this going forward. It just seems silly to me to have one team racing as exhibition while everyone else is racing for something.
I mean, it's not racing as exhibition. They're racing with the opportunity as a professional athlete to win the prize money, to go. Like they can still get everything. And maybe exhibition isn't the right word, but they're going in there and they get the opportunity to still race, even if your partner isn't able. You've qualified, you've done all the prerequisites to get into the race. It's just that one of the partners on the team is already qualified. Why shouldn't they be allowed to race? It's just like in the solo where, the athletes want to go race over and over. What was it in Glasgow where 7 or 8 people had already qualified? And so only 6 or 7 or 8 people were actually vying for a qualifying spot, for 3 qualifying spots. Like it's the same type of thing. And in this race, you have a team that's already qualified going. How is it any different than JK and Jake Dearden, who are already qualified racing, like in the race again? It just gives them the opportunity to go for it.
I guess some of us race for things besides money, Anthony. You're all about the money, and I'm just about getting that world spot.
It's their earnings. Like, I mean, there's still 13 people going, 13 teams going for the qualifying spots.
Well, it's not a secret. It's definitely not a secret that they were 3 teams short on the men's side. So, and if you do know the answer, Anthony, I wouldn't expect you to say it live on air or on a recorded podcast, but it does stand to reason that maybe the reason why they're allowing this to happen when they wouldn't have last year is because they didn't want to be in a situation where they only had 12 teams in an Elite 15 field. Like that's got to be a possibility, right?
What do you mean they wouldn't allow this? They allowed it last year. It's just you didn't earn a qualifying spot. Like it would have skipped over somebody who changed partners but had already qualified, unless they said beforehand. It's the same thing. Unless they said beforehand, no, I'm not going to take my previous.
I guess that's a fair point, because it's entirely different this year because we're doing qualifiers versus we didn't have the majors like we had. So I guess this is the first year that we're having majors for Elite 15 doubles.
I also think there's something about being a team and being loyal to your teammate. I don't know about all these people who just jump between people. So I guess it's just, I don't understand that because I'm a loyal person. But for some of these.
So Debo, here's how I knew this, because I asked this question early in the season because we found out it was going to be an issue. Like Jake and JK race together. One's a EMEA region, the other's an APAC region. And Jake can't race in the APAC regional. So how was JK going to do a doubles team? He had to find a new partner to race in the APAC region with, so he could do his regional doubles. He's still going to race his regional doubles, but he's not going to take the qualifying spot if they win, because it's going to roll down to the next qualified eligible team.
I mean, yes, you're talking about regionals versus the normal races, though, the normal majors. That makes sense to me for the regionals.
the regionals in an elite race. It's the same thing. It's a major, but with a smaller pond.
All right. As I said, I'm not about the money. I'm about loyalty. That is how all my decisions are made.
Anthony, this is a question for you. Do you know, is there a place where we can find the Elite 15 rules and regulations? Is it online or is it only shared with the elite athletes?
I just mostly read the rule book. It's the Elite 15 stuff is in the rule book. I think there is an Elite 15 guide, but I believe that's only sent out to the athletes prior to each major. Because I think it changes and it's more specific to like when and where they have to be.
Debo, you're an Elite 15 athlete. Do you know?
No, I mean, I get some emails, but I think there's a lot of people who get a lot more information ahead of other people. So it does definitely seem unfair to me that they release these things to people and people hear them through the grapevine versus getting out to the public.
I think they try to do a lot of education, but it's through their PR company. I think it's the Fittest PR. So if you follow like what they're putting out, I think they try to put all the educational information out through their own PR company.
Yeah, it would seem as though, yeah, I think this is an example of where the sport is growing wicked fast. And I think that there are going to always be situations like this. I think it's great. I want to see the best athletes race in every race. Oh yeah. So this is a question that Phil has, which would take us into London. Anthony, I asked you this last night. If you haven't seen, if you're living under a rock, the Hyrox London course might be, I'm here for the hot takes. All the Brits are going to come after me. Hyrox Excel London, December 2025, might be the new Berlin, folks. We are seeing some wicked fast times. So if you are one of the gentlemen who last night dropped a incredible time, so if you're Luke Greer with a 54:38 or Graham Holiday and you ran a 54:42, Anthony, would you just do everything you could to race again on Saturday night to put up a second time? Or is that not allowed?
So I've actually asked this question before because it did come up earlier in the season. But you only your best time, like each event is scored. So only one time per event is all you can qualify with. So even if you ran London twice, only your best time would count. Not
because it's considered one event.
So yeah, if Luke Greer went and tried to run, he was like, oh, I ran a 54:30, whatever he did. And then he tried to go back and be like, even if I'm not feeling well, I think I can run a 55 on this course. And then I have 2 times in the Elite 15. It won't count because it has to be 2 separate events.
What is the reasoning behind that, though? Because all Hyrox courses are standardized and exactly the same. And there's no difference between them time-wise. So what could the reasoning for that be?
I think it's how it's linked on the back end. So it's how they're linked together. You only can have one time count per.
I think they could probably figure out a way to switch that.
Phil's not letting this go, Anthony.
He's a rule follower.
I've asked the question because I was curious about it. That's how I got the rule. I mean, I'm sure they'll say something if it comes out to that, but it's one time per event.
Yeah, I would agree with Debo. There seems to definitely be a way to do it because I do recall there was a couple weeks ago where Charlie Bottrell ran 2 races.
That's actually how it came up first, is like Charlie's. I was like, do these times average? Is that his new average, or is he can he like race twice and have them both count? And it was no, only the faster time counts.
Yeah, because at one point on the weekend, both times were showing on the leaderboard. He was simultaneously 1 and 5 on the leaderboard, and then after they cleaned it up, he was just number 1. So, well, let's talk about the race because we did have some notable performances. Luke Greer is so far. Granted, we do have one more day of racing tomorrow for the pros, but so far Luke Greer is first overall with the 54:38. Graham Holiday 54:42. Jamie Pratt 56:18. Ollie Fricker 56.21. And oh my goodness, it must be 2023 because we got Joffrey Voisin in the 5th spot with a 56.22. Let's go ahead and read out the women real quick, and then we'll talk about the race. Charlie Sherrill with the 61.21, Jess Tao with the 61.26. It's a 2-minute PR. Chloe Cook 61.53, and Caroline Carpentier with a 62.11, and Alice Jones rounding out your top 5 so far with a 62.13. We had quite a few doubles races. Your top 5 men's doubles teams: Mark Dean, Alan Kao with a 49.10, Tony Revel and Kieran Parkinson with the 50 flat. Jorgen Dahl Olsen, Saman Rossum with the 50.32, Eric Oscar Bowe and Eric Woodard 50.38, and Jay Hogan and Ronan Lindsay with the 50.44. And rounding out your top 5 on the women's side: Ellen Bullis and Gora Bullis 57.07, Lauren Stockley, Lauren Lee Richardson 57.27, Yolanda King, Laura Archer T 58.42, Georgia Wood and Niami Young 59.56, and Poppy Robinson and Ellie Robinson with the 59.58. Again, we do have more races coming tomorrow. Okay. These times are blazing. So I'm going to I'm not going to turn this into where everyone thinks I'm going to go and just talk about how Hyrox is busted and this is a broken course. We are going to zig when people expect us to zag. I'm going to take Hyrox at their word that this course is a perfect 8,700 kilometers. And so it begs, actually meters, 8,700 meters. It begs the question, is the reason why we're seeing such fast times, is this actually the perfect course? Because it's a 1-lap course and there's virtually no rock zone. It feeds in and out right onto the run track. So, Anthony Debo, is this the course that we should all be hoping to get from now on? Not London specifically, but this layout?
Clearly. I mean, everyone's PRing by multiple minutes. This is not a real course. If you ran on this course, it's not a real time. So, I mean, yes, of course, everyone would want to run on this course if they're trying to go for a PR. This has shown that. It is a real course. We could maybe see a world record.
It's gonna count.
It might count.
Berlin counted.
I think these athletes really, I've talked about being loyal. Now, I also, you have to have some integrity. If I was on that leaderboard, I would just say, I do not want this time to count for the leaderboard. That's what I would do.
So you're saying they should have pulled a Dylan Scott and pull up before taking the world record because the New York course is broken?
Probably, yes. You guys, this is my problem. These courses are clearly different. There's clearly some things that make some of these courses exceptionally fast. But they're going through all this trouble of like drug testing. I know Meg talked about they like flew a judge out to Spain to judge her. Things that are like seconds, they're trying to really get locked down. But then something like this, they just let slide. I would rather line up on a course with someone who was on drugs, and I know you're running the same course, at least so you can line them next to them and run everything the same, than have something like this where someone's going to pick a course and they're just going to be 2 minutes faster than you no matter what.
Strong feelings.
I think I just zigged, but I was supposed to zig.
Yeah. Debo said, no, I'm going to go for it. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things at play here, and I'm just going to absolve our friend Anthony. He can say or not say whatever he wants on the show because he's obviously closer to this than we are in terms of just kind of who he is. And so, if Anthony, if you don't want to participate in this, that is totally fine. You are absolved.
All the athletes, they should all know you are your best data point. So if this is your time, it's your time. What you ran though, like, yeah, when you get a perfect setup, there's less corners, no 180s. There is a rock zone. It's pretty long, actually. It's 7-8 minutes for most people. Just make sure if you're trying to calculate your run times, you do run plus rock zone, because we're looking at, otherwise people are going to be saying, oh, I ran a 21 minute run time for 8K. And that's not right. So make sure you do your run plus rock zone. But just on that note, I was curious. I got quite a few messages on this. And so I looked into it. The total run difference I did in the top 10 men and women against their previous PR, and just like a list of some of the courses that the previous PRs were set on are Berlin, Birmingham, Madrid, Berlin, Dublin, Birmingham, London 2024. Like those were the previous PRs that these people ran, and now they have a PR on this London course. And on average, the station difference was less than 20-second difference, while the run plus rock zone difference was 1 to 2 minutes. But I did ask for this course as well. We were told that it is measured right. So maybe that's the advantage of less turns and long straightaways, is you can go faster.
Yeah. So when I said, to your point, there is a rock zone, but when I said there's no rock zone, what I mean is that you're sitting here on, you come right out and you're back on the run course effectively. I mean, it's not the run course, it's the rock zone, but it's this perfect just circle. It's just a massive track.
Even like really stuff like the burpees, it was like 10 lanes across. It was just 40 down, 40 back. Obviously, that's going to be faster. You don't have to move around people like when we ran last.
What do you know about rubbing and racing against people in the burpees, Devo?
I mean, I like that aspect of it, but I mean, obviously, it's going to be faster. Everything that they just did in London.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Anthony in that your data point is your data point, your time is your time. But I will say this is why I'm once again asking that we move away from time-based qualification for Elite 15 athletes, because, and it's okay. Not every course is the same. Not every marathon major is the same. Chicago and Boston are completely different. Chicago and New York are completely different. Chicago and Tokyo are different, and that's fine. But the problem is that there are certain courses that people know to go to, that if you want to run a fast time to qualify to get into a major, you're gonna go run those races. We don't really know. We don't have that equivalent here yet in Hyrox, because honestly, someone brought this up the other day. We've had 3 races at Chicago Navy Pier in the last 12 calendar months. All 3 races have been completely different setups. We've had different rock zone setups. We've had different station setups. The wall balls has been in a different place. We've run in different directions. So it's like the courses, I know that they're working to get to standardization, but we're not there yet. And so hopefully they'll fix it. But if they don't, if they're not going to fix it, if it is going to stay time-based, I would really hope that, and I know that this is not going to be completely possible because all venues are different, all convention centers are different, but you would think that what they would be able to do is they would be able to do what they've said that they're going to do, which is have 2 or 3 setups, and it's just those 2 or 3 setups. But that's not true. Because I've been to 4 different U.S. North American races this year, and I've been on 4 different course layouts. So we still haven't found the quote unquote 2 to 3 setups that we're going to run.
Yeah, I mean, kind of look at it like, I mean, you could go with racing, or you could go with F1, like running, racing, or F1. The tracks are different. They run, but it's how you place in F1. And with running, you're always running a marathon, 26.2 miles, but the course setup could change how fast or slow you actually go.
And one thing too is, like, in a marathons, at least generally, like, okay, Berlin's going to be a fast marathon. If I run fast, I want to go to this marathon. In Hyrox, it's still, you don't really know. You don't know what the course is going to be like. You don't know really.
The temperature,
which we've talked about.
There is a range that it's supposed to be in, but like, if you just get a cool venue, like, that can really help too.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at these London results, some of the guys, obviously they raced in Chicago 6 months ago, and from there to now, it's like 6 or 7 minutes they're dropping. So There's clearly something up with these courses.
I mean, I'm not getting, maybe it's just the way it's set up, really. But just as an example, and these guys they deserve their time still, is Mark and Alan. They ran a doubles in 49.10, and 5 days ago in Madrid, they ran an open doubles at 50.09. They took 59 seconds off in 5 days with heavier weights. But either way, they still did good. And in Madrid, they were 59 seconds faster on the stations and a minute 58 faster on the runs in London.
And this is the problem, because you said you were talking before, we want to see the best teams race, and now with stuff like this, you aren't going to get that.
A good course setup can do that, and a good layout. I don't think it's an argument, right, that a 1 lap course is with the zones right off the lap is like the perfect way to set up a course.
Yeah, and I'm with Anthony in that your time is your time, your data point is your data point. The thing. What bothers me, it's not the times that bother me. Graham Holiday is a great guy, and I am super pumped that he ran sub 55. That's amazing. It's incredible to see all these PRs. We had 9. What was the stat, Anthony? 9 out of the top 10 men ran a PR in this race so far, and that's just the Thursday race. We still have Saturday to go, so we're likely going to see more. Same thing on the women's side. And I think that Hyrox is doing so much to legitimize the professional side of the sport. And there are 2 sides to this. Hyrox is still the race for everybody. And there are going to be 40,000 people that finish this weekend in London. And we should celebrate that. And that's amazing. And I hope all 40,000 people get PRs. There can be the age group side, and then there's the professional side. If you're a pro athlete, I don't care where you are in the world. This is not a North America versus Europe thing. It is doing a disservice to all those athletes that are trying to professionalize this when you can't count on this. Like, I was joking last night that if I'm one of these roll down guys that went to Melbourne to take my shot, like, realistically, I probably wish that I would have been racing London instead, because I'd have a better likelihood of getting a fast time that would bring my average down. And then I'd have a higher likelihood of getting into Phoenix and what is it? Warsaw?
Phoenix, the regional races in Warsaw.
Yeah, Warsaw. So Phoenix and Warsaw, the last 2 majors that anybody could qualify into if you don't have a passport. Like, I'd probably want the faster time to have more likelihood later in the season. Now, you could also argue take your shot when you get it and race the pro race when you get it. But
how do you?
It just seems like it's doing it. Go ahead. I'm sure I got strong feelings on whatever you're about to ask.
But how do you feel about, say, somebody that is 7th in the race with a 57.22 versus somebody else who is 1st in a race with a 57.22 at a different course? Is that the same time? Like, should it count the same?
I don't think it should count the same personally, because I have this problem. Now, this is the other side of the coin. I do have this problem in age group where we often see it where you might put up a really good time in age group, and then someone might just show up to a race that nobody is at. And like, we're going to have the winning time for men's pro 30 to 34 in New Delhi was like 72 minutes. So it's like, does that count? There were
62 in Johannesburg, and he won.
Well, Johannesburg is what, 6,000 feet of elevation,
right?
New Delhi is not.
Right, but like, if you want to compare it, Mexico City, Aldo won, I think, with like a
7,400 feet of elevation.
He wins like outside of his region. He goes to all the Mexican races, all the Latin American races, and he runs, 62, 65, but he's winning all of them. Is that equivalent to somebody winning with a 57 or taking 7th with a 57?
You know what, Anthony? I would say it is, because they race the race that they're in, right? So it's like, that's the thing. But I don't think that should affect, do I think that these top 10 finishers are faster than Jack Driscoll right now in a head-to-head race? No, I don't. And maybe that's my North American bias showing, But I think like, again, I think both things can be true. These people should be very happy about their performances and they should be excited and their flags count and their times count. But should that affect the worldwide rankings from a timing perspective when these courses are never set up the same? We had a freaking a horseshoe in Dallas for a rock zone.
I mean, there's no way these people lay their head on their pillow at night and think that was legit.
Devo, I gotta say that's no, because you know what?
They do?
Let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you. Devo, I'm a sub 3-hour marathoner. Did you know that?
Yeah, downhill. I would never count that. My
marathon was downhill, but you know what? It doesn't change that I still ran 26.2 miles under 3 hours.
But you just had to tell us it was downhill.
Do I? I still Boston qualifier.
Yeah, you have to tell us.
I could tell you I'm a Boston qualifier, even with the downhill.
That's what Matt Troy did too. You're a Matt Troy. You're a run influencer now.
No, I fully know. Like, I ran a downhill marathon. I meant to run a downhill marathon, but it was sub 3 hours. So,
for the record, not all downhill marathons are Boston qualifiers, though, just for what it's worth.
Well, they added.
Even they have standards.
But they added time, so you have to go faster than a normal time based on how much downhill there is.
Even they have standards on their fast courses.
But I still beat the added time one, so I was pretty happy with that.
I think that to your point, though, I actually think you kind of proved my point in that you used the Mexico City example. He still wins the other regional races that he's in. No, that's great. Absolutely. He wins those races. What I want to see in the elite field is, and I don't know exactly how it's going to work because now they've expanded to where we've got 4 majors and we've got a regional. And I do empathize with the fact that we don't necessarily want our elite athletes having to race 10 times a season. But I still think that there's a way that we can find that there are qualifiers, that you qualify into the Elite 15 series, you show up, you race the other people, it's time trialing, and then we remove all of this because you race your way in.
No, or some sort of points-based system.
It needs to be trying to say how I can word this, but it needs to be based on how you do against the field in each of your races, not on total time. Because just like you said, like Berlin, what do we have? 30 something people, men go under 60 minutes. When at other races, you have people winning the races that don't go under 60 that we already know is in the Elite 15. Jake Dearden in Johannesburg went 62. He won the whole field. We already know what kind of racer he is in the Elite 15. But is that to say that a 62 that he put down is not equivalent to the 30th place person that went under 60 at a different race? No, I think in the future, it just needs to go towards how you place in a race. Horses, not courses.
I think that's my point. I actually think it's a great course. I would love to run this course. That's what I'm saying. They claim that it is standardized. It is not.
This comment here, absolutely it's jealousy. We're not saying it's a bad course. We just want the course here.
Oh, if I ran this course and I laid my head down on the pillow, I'm fast.
Hey,
today.
you just want the opportunity to run it. We're not saying don't appreciate it. That's the whole thing I was talking about with the marathon. Like, go do it. Just give it to everybody too. Each region should have one of these or multiple of these.
Yeah, and I think actually I talked to Phil for a while last night, and Phil brought up the point that they actually advertised this course when they announced it.
Yeah.
That it was going to be a 1-lap course and like this is the course you want to race. And so like that's great. But then put one of those on every continent.
So they kind of did try to, if you remember, but it was at this exact, same thing as this kind of, it was at the exact same time as a major last year. So the Vegas major in January of this year was at the exact same time as Auckland. There was also a 1-lap course, but Auckland ended up being outside and it was like 35 degrees Celsius and everybody was like just exhausted from the heat. Yeah. Now, I'd like to see it. And Berlin is always super close to Worlds, so it's hard to justify going to Berlin to do that. It's also a 1-lap course. So I'd like to see a 1-lap course spread away from the major and give
also
the
outside.
I think
we saw do have torrential downpours.
I believe we might have a North American 1-lap course coming up.
Do we?
Yeah, in Cancun, Mexico, outdoors.
Oh, so it'll be like the Auckland one.
85 degrees, 90 degrees. Yeah, perfect.
You couldn't pay me to race Cancun outdoors. That sounds like I'm gonna die of heat stroke. I think, yeah. Again, shout out to the winners. I think I'm not going to name anybody by name, but if you just go and look at some of the race results, we've got people who 2 weeks ago are 3 to 4 minutes slower. We've got doubles teams that are dropping open times and then coming out and multiple. So I'm not calling anyone out. We got multiple people that are now dropping pro doubles times 2, 3, 4 minutes faster than what they just ran open within the last month. So it doesn't pass the stiff test. I don't care what they say.
Look, everybody, you are your best data point, and you can keep representing your best data point and work to break it.
But if you ran on that Hyrox London course, you were not breaking that time.
What's your fastest time, right?
I don't know, because I ran a pretty fast Chicago course and I thought my Toronto performance was about the same. So I would have to take maybe the average of those two.
But you're a 57 guy, right?
Maybe just barely.
Now he's.
I would.
The data point says that you're a 57.33 guy. If you take the average, you're a 57
mid. Debo, you're a 57 mid guy. It doesn't matter what the course was, because in 2 years, when that data point remains, nobody's going to remember what this course was.
That's the sad part. Is I think right now these people know it's not legit. A couple of weeks from now, that starts to fade, and then I think in a month or two they're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely a 53 guy.
You're going to be chasing that time for as long as you're doing Hyrox.
See, and that's the problem. They're setting these people up just to be sad for months to years.
It's giving them motivation, pushing them forward.
That's one way to look at it. All right. I think we've done enough. We're coming up on the hour and a half mark. Anthony, we appreciate you joining. Next week on Race Brain, we're drafting. We're back. It's Melbourne. I think I'm going to try the Debo strategy and just take the hybrid engine athletes. It always works for you, so maybe it'll work for me. I have had some piss poor showings as of late, so we need to turn that around. Anthony, what do we got this week on the Hybrid Coaching Podcast?
Well, it's leading up to the major. So JK was in his no social media type of things right now. So I have yet to record another solo episode that I will do and put out. I don't have that topic, and probably will talk a little bit about Melbourne, but otherwise I'll figure it out.
All right, stay tuned. Debo, you dropped the newsletter today. You want to tell people what they can expect to find?
Just all the best information from the world of Hyrox every week in your inbox. Go subscribe.
Like and subscribe to the YouTube, to the Spotify. Go like and follow the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. You're going to get good content over there. Gentlemen, any final thoughts for the listeners?
You are your best data point. Keep touting your PRs.
Debo, who wins? You're not going to be on the draft. Who wins Melbourne? Men and women, go.
The winner, I hate to say it, as always, but I think Hunter will win for the men. And, of course, Lauren Weeks for the women.
And Anthony, let me guess, Lauren Weeks and James Kelly?
Yeah. Lauren Weeks, JK. I think it's pretty I think Lauren and JK win. But I think one of the biggest interesting points here is going to be who qualifies. I have a guest.
Listen, Lily is actually more famous in the Hyrox community. Lily is literally more famous in the Hyrox community than all of us on this show right now.
Looking for Bo and Lucy to qualify too.
You know what? If there's one thing you can take away from this, find you a coach who believes in their athletes the way that Anthony believes in his. And I mean that.
He's loyal.
I mean that sincerely. I mean that wholeheartedly and sincerely and genuinely. Anthony's never picking against his people, and that's exactly what you want in a coach.
No,
I love it. I genuinely mean that. I appreciate it.
They're gonna qualify. I know it's like
you heard it here first.
I know it's like broken record saying that, but I see their back end training. I know what they're doing, and it's just belief. Like they should be confident too. And I guess JK doesn't have his qualifying spot either. So men on the men's side, top 3 qualify, but
we will. Yeah, because Tim doesn't either. So we will see on the men's side, it'll be 3 new entrants into the World Championships. I'm personally excited to see the Tim and Hunter rematch. If the Dallas race tells us anything, Hunter's fitness is absolutely there. Tim's is there. I expect JK to come back strong. I don't know how to pick. I think that's going to be the podium. Personally, I think that as long as everyone stays healthy, I think that it's going to be some combination. This is not any particular order of JK, Hunter, and Tim, and I'm excited to watch that battle.
Save it for the draft. Don't give it all away.
Well, but if I get first pick overall, Lauren Weeks is off the board. I am never not taking Lauren Weeks if she's there on the board. So that's the only lock that I'll put in. Go ahead and just write her the check now.
Yeah, I would also don't count Lucy out. But I heard somebody on a different review talk about Linda and that she's not had the best races so far, or that she's not consistent. But to me, I think
on
Linda,
this show?
I don't know if it was this show. It might've been a different one.
I think it was that Australian podcast. I might've heard the same thing.
Linda has had one finish outside of the top 5 in the last 2.5 years in elite races.
It wasn't this show
for most of them.
We are Linda Stans here at Race Brain.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, tune in next week. It's sure to be a good one. Anthony Debo, we appreciate you. Lily, we appreciate you too.
Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
We're out.